Welcome to Z's and Threes.
For three for the win. Yes!
And what a night it was in the NBA. The whole entire league was in action. That means 15 games, 30 teams played, and boy, did we see some thrilling stuff. A player that dropped a career best. We had a 50-plus ball. That means we open up a can. Also, two games that went into overtime, games that affected the standings. We also saw Luka and LeBron take the court once again. Wow, what a night it was. So much action. Just one more night before All-Star break. So all of the teams played this evening and plenty to catch you up on. Before we do, if you like the show, please do like, subscribe, share with a friend. If you're listening on podcast, leave us 5 stars, give us a good review, share as well. Let's catch you up. An unprecedented, unheard of, never seen before in the history of Z's and Threes, 5 group chat games of the night, because they were all games that came down to clutch time. What does that mean? Well, as defined by the NBA, it is a 5-point game with 5 minutes left. So let's start. In the nation's capital, the Pacers taking on the Wizards. One team had a 13-point lead at half. Who would you think it was? It was Washington. They built it to 19 before we had a wild lead. Swing alert. The Pacers take a 3-point lead with 2:13 left. Could they close out Washington, though? Or would the Wizards find their 10th win of the season? It was 118, all under a minute. Pascal Siakam misses a 3 from the corner. Jordan Poole bucket gives the Wizards the lead. Ball in Andrew Nembhard's hands. Gets fouled on the drive. Makes both. The game is tied once again. 14.9 seconds left. A chance for the Wizards to win. Jordan Poole settles for a deep 3. That was the theme of the night. Why the 3? You can win the game driving to the bucket. No go. Overtime we go in this one. Pacers go up 9 with a $1:26 left, but the Wizards make an 8-0 run to make it interesting before a trio of Pascal Siakam free throws salts it away. Benedict Mathurin, big game for him. 2 points in the first half, but 26 from there on out, including a couple of big buckets in overtime. Pacers victorious. All right, let's go up the Eastern Seaboard to New York City. Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young, New York Knicks, always great in the Garden. 18-point Knicks lead, trimmed to 3 hitting the third quarter. It was a track meet. Just the 12th game, per the Knicks broadcast, of the NBA season in which both teams were over 100 points after 3 periods. Knicks would go back up double digits before a 13-4 Hawks run. The Hawks had not led the entirety of the game. They cut it to 1 point twice. Would they find the lead and give us a wild lead? Swing alert. The Knicks seem to have it in the bag. 2 Brunson buckets, a 6-point advantage, 18 seconds left until Georges Niang made 3. Knicks timeout. Turnover. Read my notes wrong. T.O. Dyson Daniels then makes a free throw. He's fouled. Then misses the second. It's rebounded by the Hawks, after which Trae Young gets fouled and ties the game at the line, coolly sinking both. 6 points in 7 seconds of game clock for the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young against the New York crowd is one of the best things in the NBA right now. Knicks, though, have a chance to win. Jalen Brunson shoots a step-back 3. Back iron. Overtime we go. Hawks get the first 2 buckets of the extra period. First lead of the night. Could they take the victory? Teams would trade buckets and the lead from there. The Knicks go up 1 with 43 ticks left. They couldn't add to it, though. The Hawks took the lead on the other end with 2 Onyeka Okongwu free throw makes. 11 seconds left now in overtime. Brunson cashes a jumper on a step back. Dyson Daniels is guarding him. One of the best, if not the best defenders in the league, had him dancing. Smooth crossover, so Brunson gets the bucket. The Hawks get a running layup look from Young that doesn't go. An offensive rebound leads to a Georges Niang corner 3. It would be for the win. No go. Knicks pull out the victory, 149-148. What a game. Karl Anthony Towns, 44 points, 10 rebounds, back-to-back. 40-plus point games for the first time in his career. 36 points and a game winner for Jalen Brunson. They overcome a 38-point, 19-assist effort from Trae Young. Please, please, please let us get this matchup in the first round. It would require the Hawks going on a run, but man, we want to see this in the playoffs. Milwaukee, Minnesota. No Damian Lillard, hamstring. He will recover across the course of the All-Star break. Remember, no Giannis as well. Bucks build a big second quarter lead, 16 twice, but wild lead swing alert. The Wolves take the lead late in the third. From there, 5 lead changes. Tied at 101 with 38 seconds left is where we will pick it up. Anthony Edwards misses a jumper. Brook Lopez draws a foul on the other side. He makes 2 free throws for the lead. Team up 2. So the Wolves have the ball. They had 2 timeouts as well. They elect to not use either. Anthony Edwards brings the ball up and decides on a step back 3 for the win. No go. Anthony Edwards continues to struggle when it comes to game-winning or go-ahead shots late. Edwards on the game, 4 for 17 from deep. He did score 28 points. It was an interesting day for Anthony Edwards. If you spend any time on social media, he had a feature interview piece come out on Complex. He suggested lowering the rims. I think he was saying it tongue-in-cheek in terms of the league's viewership numbers. That's an old story, man. People are watching the league now. No Giannis, no Dame. Bucks still win. 21 from Gary Trent Jr., 19 from the new addition, Kyle Kuzma. Final game, 2 more games, that like 5 group chat games of the night. We're still going here. Let's go down to H-Town. Suns, Rockets. Suns on the back-to-back after Kevin Durant makes history going over the career 30,000 points scored mark. Devin Booker was sitting this one out. The game had 21 lead changes, 8 ties. It was a 109-106 game with 2:13 left. A Dillon Brooks 3 made it 112-106. He then makes another at the 68-second mark, 18 points on the contest for him. The Rockets pull away with it at the end, 119-111. Tari Eason led them in scoring with 25, 22 from Jalen Green. KD followed up his career night with 37. Final game, here we go. Golden State Warriors, Dallas Mavericks, 2 teams fighting it out for position in that bottom band in the Western Conference. We'll get there in standings. The Mavs led by 15 twice in the third, but Jimmy Butler and Steph would get the Mavs back into it, or would get the Warriors, back into it. A 4-point Mavs lead under 5 minutes. It's cut to 2 after a Brandon Podziemski bucket. News on him later. Steph hits a 3 with 3:31 left. That gives the Dubs their first lead, going back to 6-4. All right, so how do the Mavs respond? We know they're fans. They are hungry for a win. They are hungry for something. They take it back with Kyrie Irving free throws, followed by a made 3, his 7th made 3 of the night. A huge night for Kyrie. Under a minute, Dallas up 1. Moses Moody misses a 3 that gives Dallas a chance to add to their advantage. Max Christie misses a 3, but Dallas gets an offensive rebound from Najee Marshall. Steph Curry, though, swipes him. Mavs then foul Curry, sending him to the line. All right, Steph Curry is going to the line. This one should be money in the bag. He makes the first, misses the second. Mavs get the rebound. 35.1 left, 107 apiece. Najee Marshall gets the bucket off the dribble. The Warriors send the double at Kyrie. They find Marshall, who goes on the drive, puts the Mavs up 109-107. So if you're the Warriors, who do you go to? Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time, or Jimmy Butler, player that is known for his prowess in the clutch? Well, the Warriors, they give it to their new player, Jimmy Butler, who drives and scores with the whistle. Kyrie Irving going the other way, draws a charge. Golden State bench challenges after the review. Unsuccessful, huge defensive play of the game by Irving. Max Christie's the player fouled on the other end. Cooley makes both free throws. It would end the game 111-107. The Mavs get a much, much needed win, hitting the All-Star break. It was a stellar game from Kyrie Irving, 42 points, 7 rebounds, 15 of 25 shooting, 7 threes, and that huge drawn charge to seal the game late. Unprecedented. 5 group chat games of the night, but that leaves us 10 more that were either blowouts or turned into one. Follow me. We start with the strangest game of the night. that featured the best team in the league currently, Miami Heat, in Oklahoma City to take on the Thunder, a rarity, the Thunder being tested at home. The Heat held a 93-52 halftime lead. They added to that, up 21 at their largest. One reason why the Thunder are so good, and there are many, it's that they have crushed sub-500 teams this season. So teams that do not have winning records. The Thunder coming into tonight, 23-1 against sub-500 teams, of which Miami is one. 93-83 Heat lead to start the fourth, but this is the wild lead swing of all time, one of the greatest. What a fourth it was for the Thunder as they open with a 24-0 run that included 6 3-point makes. The Heat do not get their first bucket until the 6:13 mark in the fourth period. The Thunder hold the Heat to 8 points in the closing frame. They score 32. They win the game 115-101. Thunder have now won 7 straight. But that is not the hottest team in the league, win streak-wise. That is the Denver Nuggets, who were going for their 8th, hosting the Portland Trailblazers for the 2nd straight game. Portland, good news on DeAndre Ayton, just a calf strain. The bad news, he'll be out at least 4 weeks. When we saw that, it was a non-contact, so at least hopefully they get him back on the floor. Denver, news for them and news between these two teams. Their second-year guard, Julian Strawther, will take the spot of the injured Scoot Henderson in the NBA Rising Stars portion of the All-Star Weekend. More news on that as well, as there's a lot of players taking other spots due to injuries or promotions. And what happened in this game? Well, if you saw the thumb, it was a career high for Jamal Murray, a man that is usually forgotten in this league until playoff time. Sometimes it's on a court of his own play. Sometimes it's just off the narrative of expectation, but he put the league on full reminder tonight. His 55 points, the 4th highest scoring game of this season across all NBA games. It is the 13th 50-point game. We've had one 60-pointer. Do you remember who? It was De'Aaron Fox. Also, the 3rd highest scoring game in Denver Nuggets history. They now holders of 8 straight victories, hitting the break. They are the hottest team in the league. Let's talk league's 2nd best record, the Cleveland Cavaliers in Toronto. The Raptors led just once, and it was all Cavs from there on out at 41-17 first quarter in their favor. The biggest lead would be 39. It finishes at 131-108. 7 Cavs in double figures. Donovan Mitchell led the way with 21. DeAndre Hunter with 18. Second best team in the East, well, that would be the Boston Celtics hosting the San Antonio Spurs. The lead only changed at the start. 19-point Celtics lead at the half. It finished 116-103. Celtics with the victory. Teams both made 42 field goals, but Boston had 9 more made threes, also 18 more rebounds. Jason Tatum, 32 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, but he was 4-14 from 3. Continues to be spotty with his 3-point shot. 29 from Kristaps Porzingis, 17 and 13. Victor Wembanyama, 23 from De'Aaron Fox. Okay, how about the most talked about team in the league? Not hottest team, not best record. This one everybody wants to talk about, and rightfully so, because Luka Doncic is an LA Laker, and the Lakers are running it back against the Jazz, this time in Salt Lake City. Luka made his debut. They got the victory. Did the Lakers? Well, let this serve as a reminder as to not to listen to anybody who claims to watch the league and is given a platform to tell you about the league as a trusted voice. There's going to be an acclimation period for the Lakers and for Luka. And remember, they still don't have a true NBA caliber starting center. The player that was in that role, well, tonight, Jackson Hayes, he left the game just 7 minutes in with a facial contusion. And the Jazz, well, they made most of it. With all of their tied for the West worst 12 wins, they outscored the Lakers in the first 3 quarters, including a 40-30 third. It finished at 104-86. Hitting the fourth, did the Lakers have a run? They did not. Final score, 131-119. Lakers' 6-game win streak is snapped by the lowly Jazz. Game high, 32 from Lauri Markkanen, 21 from former Laker Jordan Clarkson. Luka, 16 points, just 23 minutes played, 18, 6, and 7 from LeBron James. Let's go to the other team in LA. They were at home, the Clippers hosting the Memphis Grizzlies. This one big in terms of the Western Conference standings. Memphis trying to stay ahead of Denver. The Clippers trying to stay ahead of Minnesota. We'll get into that in standings. How everything looks after tonight. It was a 12-point Grizzlies lead in the second that quickly turned into a blowout in favor of the Clippers. They ran it all the way through the wire. 129-114. They will play one more game Thursday night before heading off to All-Star break. Their one All-Star, James Harden. Games with seeding implication for the East cut line and for a guaranteed playoff spot. Yes, that is the 6-7 band. Detroit trying to stay above. They played Chicago again after being thoroughly embarrassed Tuesday evening. Would the Bulls have any get back against the Pistons? No, they would not. Detroit's biggest lead of 21 finishes at 128, 110, 29, 5, and 7 from Cade Cunningham. Is he well known enough yet with his all-star status to refer to him as just Cade? I don't know. Put it out there. Let me know down in the comments. Is he a one-name player yet? 19 each from Tobias Harris and Asar Thompson. More on him later. The Bulls, 4 straight loss, but still amazingly in the 10th and final play-in spot. Okay, Pistons win. Can the Magic win as well? They took on the Charlotte Hornets. Their offensive struggles prevailed in the first half. They scored just 44 points, 2 quarters combined, but the Magic came out 33 in the third. They hold Charlotte to 19, close it out in the fourth. Orlando, the worst team in the league. One reason they struggled to score a lot of points, it's when they shoot threes. And making threes, they make just 11 per game. Well, they made 14 tonight. 4 of them came from Paolo Banchero, 24, 8, and 6. 102-86, the Magic hold the Hornets under 100. Just 2 teams scored under 100. I'll tell you who later. With the Wolves' loss, chance for the Sacramento Kings to make up some ground, trailing them in the West race. They were in the Big Easy to take on the Pelicans. Pelicans announced Herb Jones will be out the remainder of the season, having surgery on a torn rotator cuff in his right shoulder. Kings kept building double-digit leads, but the Pelicans kept soaring back. We have one wild lead swing alert, 13 lead changes, 12 ties, but 11-2 run starting at the 4:37 mark finally put the Pelicans away. 24 from DeMar DeRozan, 23 from Zach LaVine that have just traded in their Chicago red for the Kings purple, a 119-111 final. And finally, a battle of 2 lottery-bound teams. Every other game had playoff implications tonight, with the outcome outside of this one that has lottery implications. Philadelphia and Brooklyn, Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid would sit this one out. Nets build a 15-point lead early in the fourth and take it across the tape, 196. The final made it look closer than it was. It didn't get into clutch time. 22 from D'Angelo Russell, 18 from Trendon Walford. The Sixers hit the break, having lost 5 straight. All right, let's update the standings after the 15 games tonight. The league's best record, well, both teams 1 seeds, OKC and Cleveland, with major distance from the teams in their rearview mirror, but they are locked in a battle with one another for the league's best record. Thunder have a half-game advantage by virtue of 1 less loss. They have 9 to the Cavs 10, both teams with 44 wins. Let's talk the East picture first. The Celtics 2.5 clear of the Knicks, who have plenty of cushion in 4th. It is the battle behind them, 4 through 6. Indy, Milwaukee, and Detroit, of which there's just a 2-game difference. Behind that, 7 through 9, Orlando, Miami, and Atlanta. They are just a half game apart. All safely clear of the struggling Bulls, who could be caught by the Sixers, but both teams right now going in the wrong direction. Bulls have lost 4, Sixers have lost 5. Let's go to the Western Conference. Denver is now just a half game behind Memphis. One more meeting between the two, April 11th in Denver. The season series currently split 1 apiece. So if there's a potential tiebreak scenario, the Nuggets are 2 games ahead of the Rockets, who are now a full game ahead of the 5th seeded Lakers. If you remember earlier this week, Lakers were talking about making a play for the 2 seed. Well, they've dropped down a little bit. 1 through 4 reminders start the playoffs at home. That's why that 4-5 is so important. Here's where it is the most interesting. 6 through 10 in the West. It is a log jam. Seems as if the Suns in 11th, they are a game and a half out of the play-in. Unless they get it together, they're not making any noise. So 6 through 10 will be the ones that decide the 1 guaranteed playoff spot and the other 4 play-in spots. Those teams, the Clippers, the Wolves, the Kings, the Mavericks, and the Warriors. 3 games separate that 5-team band. Remember, 1 guaranteed playoff spot for 6 and 7 through 10 in the play-in, 2 of which will advance to the playoffs. Heavy Pour, leading score of the night, presented by Portland Water. Visit them at drinkpdxwater.com. And what do we do when we get a 50 ball? We hydrate, baby. Man, I was needing that. It's hard going through 15 games. 55, I'm sure Jamal Murray needed some water after his 55, a career best over the Portland Trailblazers. Heavy Pour, leading score of the night, presented by Portland Water. Check them out. Dunk of the night. You want to sponsor Dunk of the night? Get at your boy. It's down below. Tari Eason. The man drove the lane so hard, he made Mason Plumlee think better of the challenge. It punctuated his 25-point night. Performance of the night, well, I'm going to split it between 3 players. Karl Anthony Towns with his 44 and 10, his back-to-back 40-plus point games. Kyrie Irving with his 42 and 7, and Jamal Murray with his career best 55. And stat of the night, as mentioned, only 2 teams in the league did not score over 100. It would be the Charlotte Hornets and the Philadelphia 76ers. Quick news items from the day. The Sacramento Kings reported they are signing former number 1 pick Markelle Fultz. Previously 5.5 years in Orlando playing for the Magic, the pick of the Philadelphia 76ers, trying to help fill that void vacated by the trade of De'Aaron Fox. Let's talk replacements for the Rising Stars game. Mentioned already one of them in Brandon Podziemski of the Golden State Warriors. Other players going in: Anthony Black of the Orlando Magic, Phoenix Suns' Ryan Dunn, Toumani Camara of the Portland Trailblazers, and Asar Thompson of the Detroit Pistons. Players that will be out vacating their spots due to injuries: Jared McCain, Derek Lively II, and Brandon Miller. Cason Wallace as well. Finally, Victor Wembanyama. He vacated his spot on the Rising Stars team as he was an NBA All-Star. If you are not familiar with the format, well, we are going to use tomorrow to give a full breakdown of what we will see come Sunday for the All-Star weekend. But the Rising Stars have a chance to be the All-Star champions. House shoes. And you guys are getting a little BTS behind the scenes tonight as Kicks Cam is handheld. First, we will show the kicks. There you are, Jordan 13s. And if you are a follower of the show, you know that I have been working on the Signature Sneaker Showdown. And what that will be is 16 shoes and players represented going head-to-head to crown a signature sneaker champ. And I wanted to do this earlier this year when De'Aaron Fox, who, boom, right there, they're the De'Aaron Foxes on Kickscam, when he scored his 60, but they lost. So we didn't do an unboxing there. We've done other unboxings across the course of the season. So tonight we're going to unbox not necessarily a signature, but it is this player's shoe, and he had a career night, Jamal Murray, with his 55. I'm going to give you a tour of the kick stats here because that's in the background every night. These are all the signatures sitting back here that are part of the Signature Showdown. So let's grab the Jamal Murrays and let's do an unboxing. All right, box in hand. These are not the Jamal Murrays. This is the Lego Adidas Superstar that sits in front of where the Jamal Murrays were. Jamal Murray, a New Balance athlete. The reason that I chose these is, well, I really like the style. I was intrigued. New Balance is making a push into the basketball space. We know that Cooper Flagg is signed as one of their signature athletes, the presumptive number one pick in the coming NBA draft, but also making a push in other sports as well. I'm a big New Balance fan. If you follow House Shoes, Kicks of the Day, what I'm rocking, it's usually a lot of New Balance. So let's see what we got for not necessarily a signature. The only signature they currently have is Kawhi Leonard. I didn't want to put Kawhi in the signature sneaker showdown because, well, he wasn't playing at the time, but this is the model that Kawhi wears. I believe he does wear a two-way, but we're going with this. Already minus points for no box specific to the athlete. You know, if you're going to do a signature, for me, you need to have a signature box. But let's see what is in the box. Ooh, this is a smooth colorway. Oh, I like that. See, the Jamal Murray is on the logo, the blue arrow. That is Jamal's logo. And these are the New Balance two-ways that Jamal Murray wore on his way to dropping 55 points tonight. There's a good shot for you on the main camera. There's the overhead. I like these. These are a very unique shoe, and interested to see what New Balance has when it comes to forging further into the basketball space. One of the things that I have said repeatedly I'm a big fan of is the fact that it is no longer dominated by just one brand. We're seeing innovation. We're seeing new partnership. Look no further than tonight, Kyrie Irving, a player that was named as one of my players in performances of the evening, that dropped his big 42 points in his Anta ones. So seeing more players coming up in different shoe brands and bringing different designs with different stories is something that I love to talk about and focus on. Oh, what is this? There's something in here. Is there something in here? There is nothing in here. See, also minus points. All right, New Balance, you got some work to do. Thought that was maybe an insert or some shoelaces. All we have in the box is the tissue, and then these are just padding. So, yeah, you need to give me a little bit more. If you're telling a signature, now, granted, this isn't your typical signature, but give me a little bit more so I know more and have a better connection with the player. But this is a slick looking shoe. Very cool. Jamal Murray, 55 points in an unboxing of his New Balance two-way. What a night. I was looking at the schedule, and when I did what to watch yesterday, there was some trepidation, as I believe there were only 3 games between two teams with winning records, but the whole league in action delivered indeed. Just one more night before the All-Star break. What to watch Thursday. 4 games, 8 teams playing before the All-Star break begins. The most important, Warriors, Rockets, and Thunder, Wolves, as those will help determine further seeding in the West race. We'll also use tomorrow as a full All-Star preview to remind you of who is playing, who's in which competition, and the new format they will be playing under. Remember, there are 4 teams with 3 mini games to 40, crowning 1 champion. If you miss any of the action, well, as always, Z's and Threes has got you. If you like the show, please do like, subscribe, share with a friend. If you're listening on pod, give us 5 stars, leave a review. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.